Dude, oh my God, you solved it. That's right. That's right. It's not a chicken, it's a rooster. This all ties in.
They kind of like in a dance. Like you get one and then the other and then one and then the other.
And they say, here, have a Weizenbock for breakfast.
Maybe.
Suckle on the Weizenbock.
Oh, yes.
Welcome back to the Beer Brackets Pub, everybody. It's a very special episode. I feel like I say that a lot, but this one is... We've been doing so many special episodes recently, man. It's just one special episode after another, after another, after another. And I feel like we're checking off beers from our beer bucket list, things that we've always wanted to review, because look at this. We talked about this beer on Beer Bracket of the Month 13. We've had people in the comments. Every time we talk about a Weihenstephaner beer, our viewers pop into the comments and they say, you got to try the Vitus. You got to try the Vitus. What about the Vitus? Where's the Vitus? Here we are. It's not available in Canada that I've ever seen. I was down in Vermont a couple of weeks ago. I saw it on the beer shelves, man. It was like a moment. I couldn't believe it. I was actually looking for the foreign extra stout because we were hoping to review that for St. Patrick's Day. And then I found this instead, and it was more than a consolation prize.
Right?
But finally, man, we get to... And one of probably your favorite Weihenstephaner beer. Is that fair to say?
It's absolutely fair to say, my friend. That's why I'm so excited. Like, it's really, really a fantastic occasion, just to be here together and enjoy it and review it in this setting and go through all the categories and see what we think. It's such a special opportunity. That's
the best part. Like, beer brackets aside, getting to try this with you right now tonight is just the best part.
Yeah, I agree.
And that says a lot that it's your favorite Weihenstephaner beer, because the Weihenstephaner Hefeweizen sits on our perfect beer roundtable. So if this is your favorite beer from them over a beer that sits on the perfect beer roundtable, that says a lot, buddy.
It does. I know.
Wow. So coming in at a whopping 7.7% ABV. Compared to the other Weihenstephaner offerings, that's pretty high. That's pretty damn high. It is a Weizenbock in style, which is basically a wheat beer bock. So I'm kind of fascinated about that, because we've talked about bocks on the channel. Specifically, I think it was Beer Bracket of the Month 14, where I had the Einbeck, the original bock from the town of Weihenstephaner, where the style was created. And even the word bock refers to somebody from the town of Weihenstephaner. Like, it's sort of evolved into that over time. And so this style is something that we haven't really explored too much on the channel as of yet. But a bock, basically, man, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're the beer genius here, but correct me if I'm wrong, right? So a bock is a lager, but it's kind of like a maltier form of lager that uses a specific kind of Munich malts. Am I right? Like a toastier kind of malt that gives it a bit more of like a dark bready flavor.
That's right.
And it tends to be higher in ABV too as well, right?
That's absolutely correct. Spot on, my friend. You couldn't have said it better.
So a Weizenbock, that's interesting. So of course it's a wheat beer at its base, but it's a wheat beer bock. A bock wheat beer. That's
perfectly described, my friend. So it's like all the best of a good lager bock that marries like the wheat Weizen style, and right. And the result is this. And if you're asking my personal opinion, the Vitus is the Weizenbock. It's like there's others, but the Vitus is
the Weizenbock.
The Weizenbock, in my opinion, at least. I haven't had another one that comes even close to this. And I know I'm building it up, but probably one of the reasons why it came up so frequently in the comments, because I think there's a lot of people that feel the same way out there.
Go back and watch Beer Brackets of the Month 13 if you haven't seen it. Alessandro goes deep into the legend of St. Vitus.
Yes.
In the best way. So I definitely recommend, I'll put a link to it down below, actually timestamp the legend of St. Vitus.
It's a fun one.
But my friend, is there anything that we need to know, anybody coming in, to know about the St. Vitus or anything to do with the legends behind this beer?
Well, like I said, without diving too deep into the legend, one thing that is important to know is like why is it called Vitus, right? Like it's the reason is quite simply because Weihenstephaner is considered one of the oldest breweries in the world, and they are according to beer legend, exactly, and they sit on this top of this hill, Freising, in Germany. The first monastery that was erected there was inaugurated in honor of Saint Vitus. So Saint Vitus is an important figure in Weihenstephaner's history that has kind of overlooked and always like protected them over the years. So there's a lot of legends around this figure. And interesting enough, without getting too much into the details, he was actually Italian. So if you're curious, like definitely go check out the legend down here because there's a lot of fun twists, I would say, nonetheless.
You know what? One fun Easter egg I found about Saint Vitus.
Go ahead, my friend.
He's the patron saint of a couple of things. One of them being not sleeping in.
Okay. That's interesting.
I don't know how that happened or how that applied to thousands of years ago. People, I don't know why you wanted to prevent people from sleeping in. Maybe they weren't drinking their morning Weizenbocks. Maybe that's what it was. They were sleeping in too late. And Vitus had to come and awaken them from their slumbers and say, here, have a Weizenbock for breakfast.
Maybe
suckle on the Weizenbock.
That's probably why. That's probably why. I'm sure this has been said many times in history. The best Weizenbock is the one consumed in the morning, apparently. That's how, in my opinion, these two things tie in.
I am sure it is. I'm sure this Weizenbock has many special powers if you consume it in the morning. I'm absolutely sure. Coming in at 7.7%. My God. Man, this is an historic moment. I couldn't wait for this. Finally, I'm getting to try this beer with you after years of beer speculation, after years of you telling me how good this is, after years of our subscribers telling us in the comments how this is their favorite of the Weihenstephaner beers. It's been sitting in my beer cellar for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks waiting for this occasion to review. Let's open these up, buddy, and let's get right into this review.
Let's do it.
Oh, it has been opened. All right.
All right, my friend. Oh, yes.
Let's see what it has to offer. Wow.
This is awesome.
What is oh my God. I was not expecting that.
What are you getting, my friend? I can't wait to hear.
Look at this. Look at this beautiful beer. What is this? Beautiful concoction. All right, buddy. Cheers.
Cheers Aroma, to you, my friend. Aroma, cheers. Yeah, so I had to almost stop myself because I just was going in the glasses. I know, wait a moment.
I was immediately after taking a sip, I just touched my mouth with glass. After taking a sniff, sorry. And I just wanted to go in for a sip right away.
Oh, this, I don't know, like, it's just so complex. Like, from the moment you pour it, you get these amazing aromas of banana and clove. But they kind of like in a dance, like you get one and then the other and then one and then the other. It's like a lot of times, like with Weissens in general, Weiss beers, like you get one note and it just lingers and it stays. But here in this one here, I really find that there's this beautiful dance of the two, complex and evolving. But then you have this very strong malty, caramely, biscuity presence that is way stronger than on a regular wheat beer. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I hadn't even got into the glass, and I already wanted to take a sip. Like, I mean, if that's not a 3 on 3, I don't know what it is. What do you think, my friend?
Yeah, it calls to you.
It really does. It really does, and it's not even in the morning. Like, it's just like
no. Yeah, you described it perfectly. I think banana clove are there, but then there's like this like really nice rich maltiness. It's delicious. Like it's such an inviting aroma. It's not too strong. It's not too weak. It's kind of like the perfect kind of middle ground there. I mean, obviously there are no flaws here to pick apart. How am I going to go on the aroma? I'm going to go like a 2.5. It's complex. There's nothing like there that I haven't smelled before. Not that that's a bad thing, but what is there is just done like really, really, really well. But dude, I want to go in for a taste. Let's do this. Cheers.
Yeah, my friend. Cheers.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay, I see what all the hype is about. I definitely understand the hype now. On the aroma, I was like, it's nice. I really like it. I wasn't so 100% sold to go up to a 3, but now on the taste, I'm like, okay, I see.
Yeah, it's poetry in a bottle, in my opinion. It's really, really, really well done. Taking all in your reaction, my friend, because it's fun to see how, as a first time experiencing it, like to get that impression. That's always a pleasure.
Fantastic. So what do you think?
All right, my friend. So I just wanted to make sure you got like a time to really enjoy and appreciate without having to.
Oh, I'm processing. Yeah,
that's all right. Like, well,
it's a beer moment.
I understand. Obviously, I've had it before, so I recognize some of the aromas and tastes that are coming through. You get this immediate banana and clove that like start strong.
Yeah.
But then they kind of like mellow out, and they almost like are infused in this like sea of malt, and in this malt, but it's not. It's not rich. It's not overly sweet. It's just like the purified form of malt. It's like almost the essence of malt in the sense that it's what you imagine malt should taste like if it had a liquid form. It just like ever so evolving. And, even now it's been quite a while since I've taken the sip, but I can still taste it, and it's not overbearing. It's perfectly balanced. 3 on 3. I'm sticking with that, my friend. What do you think?
It's pretty amazing. It's like you said, like those banana clove. It's because it feels like you're drinking a lager.
Yes.
There's the wheat aspect to this. It's totally hidden. It has the body of a lager. You think it tricks your brain because when you're drinking it, it makes you think like you're drinking a standard lager or pilsner just because of all those other characteristics. And the taste doesn't match it at all, which is very, very common in bocks to get that much maltier taste on there, to get these characteristics out of it that just you wouldn't get in a regular lager. But the combination of the two, I guess the wheat adds like this amazing, like you said, the banana clove, those kinds of estery characteristics. And then you get the characteristics of the bock, which is that maltiness, that breadiness, that just pure, like you said, pure maltiness. It's just like pure breadiness, like crackery, sweet, and almost like, spicy of a clove in the sense of like not hot spicy, but just like an aromatic kind of with the sweet of a banana combined with maltiness. It is just delicious. I'm going to go with a 3 on the taste as well. It's fantastic. Mouthfeel, buddy. We got to do a little bit of a refresher here.
Refresher
Your bracket
time.
tradition. The Vitus refresher. I'm really curious as to why he's the patron saint of not sleeping in. I'm very curious about that. I want to look that up and find out what the story is there. I find that very curious.
There's got to be a connection there to something, I'm sure.
Wow. Okay. What do you think?
I don't know. Like,
it needed the refresher, right? Like you can't judge the mouthfeel after having this open for 10 minutes.
No, it
doesn't work.
I think the mouthfeel, like to judge it properly the way we're doing, it's one thing if you're, just taking the sip and considering in like as an overall, but when you're really just analyzing the mouthfeel, I think a refresher is always a good thing because it really gives you the full experience of just having poured the glass. So the best, the purest form. Yeah. What I love about the way this beer like presents itself, like, is that it has this very complex, almost like a cleansiness mixed with an extreme lightness. Yeah. And I think in one word, the word that I can think of is silk. It's not creamy.
It's so silky.
It's not creamy, and it just like slides on your tongue perfectly. Considering that it's 7.5%, you would expect it to be to have some kind of like stickiness, some sort of sweetness presence. But I don't find that at all. Like, it's so just like inviting. Like, I want another sip because that's something I haven't really tasted in many other beers. 3 on 3 still for me. I know I'm a little biased walking into this, but I'm trying to do my best to really just pull apart and think, is there anything that I don't like? And so far I haven't found anything. What about you, my friend?
You're working on a perfect beer over there, buddy. I'm just trying to think of if there's anything I can add to what you said. I think you described it so perfectly. It cleanses your palate. I'd compare it almost to the Hofbrau wheat beer that we tried, which I thought was very similar in body in the sense that it's kind of like sharply carbonated, nice creamy aspect to the mouthfeel there, though. A little bit of creaminess from the wheat aspect of it, really crisp and refreshing. And like you said, for a 7.7% ABV beer, you would expect there to be almost like a little bit of oiliness to it, a little bit of a stickiness to it that there's not. It's just crisp and refreshing. It's just a 3-on-3 mouthfeel. It's kind of like a soapy carbonation also as well, in the sense that it just sort of like washes over your palate. And it acts as like a vehicle for all those delicious flavors that we talked about. 3-on-3, buddy, all the way. So now the finish of the Weihenstephaner Vitus. What do you think?
It's going to take some deep beer meditation to really get through. Because
heavily encouraged.
I think the finish is one of the things that is incredibly complex and different compared to any other Weiss beer or wheat beer I've had. And the reason why I'm saying that is that because every time I try this beer, I almost find I discover like a slight different angle to it. And
right, I can see that. I can totally see that with this beer. Whereas every time you try, you discover something new.
Exactly. It's almost like a crystal. Like you look at it at one side, you see one aspect, but then you turn and like, oh no, wait, there's this other. Like, so still maintaining its form overall, but it's ever so slightly changing. And obviously,
it's like a beer crystal.
Yeah, it's a beer crystal, the best kind of crystal.
You're like Indiana Jones.
And
really, you're Indiana Alessandro. And the kingdom of the crystal beer.
That could be maybe a movie one day.
I'd watch that movie.
That'll be a fun one. We need the scene where it's like, on the pedestal where you have to swap the beer for
something of equal weight.
Sand. Yeah, equal weight. Like, yeah, exactly. And then I have to run out of it, like holding the beer without spilling it. See, we came up already with the beginning of the movie. Now we just need to figure out like some other aspects. But
we could write that screenplay in 10 minutes. I'm sure if we wanted to, we could just fly through that.
I think that might be something we have to do. Maybe that could be a good opportunity to get up early in the morning, like have a Vitus to start, and then we'll write like it, and by the end we have the movie. What I like about the characteristic of the banana is that it doesn't feel like fake. It's actual banana aromatic, like you would peel a banana. That's that kind of, without being overly ripe. It's just a perfect balance. You have the clove presence that has like this adds this spice element without being overbearing. Purified malt, right? Really, and this one I always go back to that because it's every time I taste it.
It's such a great description.
The finish just like makes this malt shine almost like through a crystal. Like that's a good way to say it. So for me, it's still a 3, my friend. Still a 3. That malt is just like so amazingly done. Like I haven't tasted anything like that, like in any other beer.
I'm almost like done with the beer. I've just been drinking it so much. But I've got the smaller 330 milliliter bottle.
I got almost the 1 pint.
And so I have a question. You see, I don't know if you have the same thing on yours, okay, but on the top label there,
yes,
there's a picture of St. Vitus.
Yes.
And he's holding a book that has a chicken on it.
I see. And he also has a feather, I think, or something in his hand.
Yeah. What's with the chicken book, St. Vitus? I
don't know. Maybe it's a rooster and it's waking you up early in the morning.
Dude, oh my God, you solved it. That's right. That's right. It's not a chicken, it's a rooster. This all ties in. You see? This is why I keep you around. This is perfect. You solved the mystery in a second. So I guess he's the patron saint of the rooster. He just wakes people up early all the time.
See, there you go. Now we're starting to tie in the dots. Now the question is, what is that feather that he's holding in the book? What's the book?
The feather is to come around to your house and like wiggle it under your nose to wake you up. And then feed you Vitus. He walks around with a wooden keg of Vitus and just pours it into your mouth.
And maybe the book is, if you don't wake up, then he uses the book to really hit you,
smack you in the face. It's a fantastic finish. It evolves. That's the thing. Like, I've been thinking about this the entire time you were talking. I was listening and agreeing, and I've been trying to think about what I'm going to say about it, but it changes constantly after you take a sip.
Yeah,
in the best way. And I think for me, obviously the maltiness, but also those estery characteristics, kind of like, especially like the banana kind of lingers, which is nice. There's kind of like a little sweetness.
Yes.
But a nice sweetness, not like a malty sweetness, like
It's a
like a
fruity-
banana sweetness.
Yeah.
But I can't pinpoint and say that I've had on a particular beer before that makes it really unique. And anytime I'm really enjoying something, can't find faults, and it's unique, it's an instant 3 on 3 for me. Easy 3 on 3 for the finish. Now, my friend, it's an overall beer experience. What do you think?
Oh, my friend.
If you gave it 3s all the way through, I'd be shocked if you gave it a 1 at this point. Overall, but we'll see.
This is a beer that I've had times before, so obviously I walked into this review knowing that it's a beer that I know, that I like, trying to be as meticulous as possible, as looking into the different categories. I think the first time I tried it was actually when I came here to the U.S. And I tried it here when I was working at the beer store. It was recommended to me as from one of the customers that, you really, if you like, Weihenstephaner beers, you really got to try this one here. I said, I've had the regular Hefeweizen many times. I've never tried this one here. And I just remember that it was like, I took a sip, time stopped for a second. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like, what did I just taste? And sometimes you go back and revisit a beer and say, it was not that, maybe like it changed, your palate evolved. But with this one, every time I drink it, it's just like, wow. Like I always get this wow moment. So because of that, I'm giving it a 3, my friend. Even today, I'm trying to really pull it apart. And to me, there's just no flaws, or at least not from the point where I'm standing.
A 2.5 is a fantastic score in the beer brackets world. It's not detracting anything from it. There's a very fine line between a 2.5 and a 3. And so even though I gave it a 2.5 on the aroma, from beginning to end, cracking this beer open and experiencing it, it's looking back, it's a 3 on 3. And I think I could say that confidently for anybody. If you are a fan of beer and you're willing to take the time to sit down and just pour this one out and sip it, take everything in and just process it and be a good beer barometer, I'm confident to say that this would be a 3 on 3 beer experience for most beer drinkers as well. So calculating our final scores here, obviously for Alessandro, it's a perfect beer for him, 5 on 5, which is a perfect beer in our beer rating system. So not a perfect beer for beer brackets, but an Alessandro perfect beer. And for myself, just the highest score possible without achieving perfect beer status, 4.83 on 5, which is an outstanding beer in our beer rating system. Everybody let us know down below if you tried the Vitus. What do you think? You've already let us know in the comments before what you think of it. So we kind of know, is it your favorite Weihenstephaner beer? And before leaving, make sure to click that beer bell, because what that does, it tells YouTube, it's like anytime we're in a pub having a beer, Alessandro and I, it lets you know to jump into the pub and join us and have a beer. Very important.
It's very important. It's very important. If not anything, you can sometimes maybe we post the episode and in the moment you can't have a beer. Well, you just put it there, save for later, and then you watch it. And
That's
at least
right.
we are hanging out in the pub. And even better, you know what beer to pick, so you can drink it with us at the same time.
Exactly. You know for your next beer shopping trip what to pick up, so you can have it along with us in the pub at any time. That's the beauty of the Beer Brackets pub. It can be rewatched at any time.
Exactly. And no matter what, don't forget to close your beer brackets. That's very important.
Never forget. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
What a delicious beer.